Good morning to all of you. Jai Hind. Uh, I am Anand Gautam, Assistant Professor in Shubharti, Swami Vivekanand Shubharti University. Today I am going to give the lecture on operating system, which will make you understand about the basics of operating system and helps the students related to computer who are studying various subjects or various courses in computer applications like BCA, MCA, BTech, MTech. The operating system subject is very common in all subjects, in all courses, and it is helpful in to make the understanding the operating system concepts. So first of all, I will make you understand what is operating system. Operating system. So operating system, what is operating system? Which operates the system. So which system which we are talking about? Which we are talking about the computer system. Computer system. Okay. So computer system. If I want to use any application, suppose we are using many applications in the computer, like we are using browser, word, camera. So the basic motto of OS is to provide interface between hardware and application software. Okay, here I have written the basic motto. What is the basic objective of the operating system? Is to provide the interface between the hardware. Like the hardware is our input devices, output devices, so we can easily interact with these hardware devices through application software. Suppose if I want to give any printout I want to take any printout in the computer. So what I am doing is I am giving the instruction to the application software, like application software. I am giving the instruction in the application software, like I am giving the instruction in the Word, MS Word or Libra. It is used in Windows. It is used in Libra is used in Linux. Okay. So I am giving the print command in the Word, and then after clicking the print button, I am giving the print button. After clicking it, then it will ask, will you want to print it? Then after confirming the message, yes, then it will take the printout. So the basic point I am telling about this is I am directly interacting with the hardware or not. I am not directly interacting with the printer. I am interacting with the application. And this application provides the interface between the printer. Okay, it is just like here will you understand easily. Here it is user 1, user 2, and so many users. Here it is application software and this application software is interacting with operating system. And this operating system is hardware like CPU. We have CPU, input output devices, and input output devices, and here it is also written RAM. So what is the basic point is user is giving the instruction, his instruction to the application software, and this application software is linked with the operating system. It means if I am giving the print options to any output device like printer, I am giving the printer. I want to use the printer. User wants to use the printer to take printout. So it is giving the application, in application software it is giving command through word. Here it is giving the print option. After confirming it from yes or no, I will select yes. Then it will directly interact with the printer. So this interface between the printer and the application is done by this operating system. So operating system is just like the interface. It is just like the intermediate between the application software and hardware. So I hope you will get the basic point of the operating system, that what is the operating system. It is just like the interface. So operating system is the interface which provides the link between hardware and the application. So now the basic point is, one question arises, is any computer can run without operating system or not? Is it mandatory to having the operating system and done all our instruction and done all our applications? It is not mandatory that we have to install any operating system it is not mandatory to have OS in system. Why I am saying this? Because if, let us understand about this, if I am using this printer, this printer is directly interacting with which operating system, and this operating system is interacting with application software. And I am saying that I don't want to use the operating system. I don't want to use this operating system. So is it possible to give any command to the printer and take the printout? It can be possible, but what we have to do, we have to write the extra code. We have to write the extra code for invoke printer. First of all, I have to write the extra code for invoke printer, that I want to use printer. After writing the command, I will invoke the printer. Then after I will take the printer. So what we have to and each and every time each and every time, if I want to use next time I want to use the printer, then again we have to write the extra code for invoking the printer. So what we are doing is, for doing any extra things, like just we are for example, we are invoking printer to take printout. If you want to access any drive, like C drive or D drive or E drive, in Windows we are just clicking the drive and explore the drive and access the files or folders. But if we don't have the operating system, we have to write the extra code for entering in C drive, in D drive, and then after use the extra code for accessing that file or accessing that application. So like just an example, you have seen the MS DOS, which is also known as command prompt. So in command prompt we are doing, if we want to copy any file from C drive to D drive, we use the copy con command. We are using copy con command for copying this folder, this file from this folder to that drive. So by using this copy con command. So in MS DOS we are using the command prompt, but in Windows there is the GUI interface, basically the compute. Now you have to understand what is the main purpose of operating system. It is the most it is just like a software language. It is just like any software language which provide the easiest interface between any hardware and any software. Any hardware can understand any software with this OS. So it is not any mandatory to have any operating system to run any file or any hardware. You can run it by writing the extra code, but you have to know about the extra code, what we have to, and this needs a lot of skill to having that command and to use or access the hardwares. So basically now we are talking about the operating system types. What are the types of OS? In how many types the OS can be divided? So basically the OS can be divided into two types. Number one is command, and second is GUI. Now in command we are just typing the whole things. We are not using any mouse or any else screen, or using or not having the we use just by writing through keyboard. And in GUI, in this command code, no use of mouse. But in GUI, that is graphical user interface. Means through graphically we are seeing all the icons, all the properties. We are seeing all the options in this screen, and through graphics we can easily distinguish between that icon and another icon. And after clicking that icon, we can easily access to the any options. So basically there are two types of operating system command. In command prompt you can the basic is MS DOS, and in GUI lots of operating systems are there in the command GUI, like Windows, Ubuntu, Macintosh. Okay, there are lots of GUI interface which can provide the GUI interface, and there are lots of also there is a lots of operating system which may lie in the command prompt. The basic which we can see in all the operating system is MS-DOS. So these are the two types of the operating systems. Now I will discuss what are the primary. This is all about the types of operating system. Now the next we will go ahead to the next topic. Next topic is what is the primary goal of operating system? What operating system wants us to achieve? What it wants to give us through that environment? What that operating system is want to give through this? So there is two things. First one is convenience, and the second point is throughput. Now convenience is that all users are convenient to that operating system. They can easily understand that what the interface is saying to him and what he wants to do in that operating system. So convenience is like that thing is very convenient to me. It means that it is saying that you can easily absorb that environment, and through that environment you can easily do all the things which that platform is providing to you. So the primary goal of the operating system is to provide the convenience, that there must be easy installation, easy doing all the things, or easy to use applications, easy to take all the operating system works. So it provides the easy interaction. No complex things. The basic point is there must be easy to do done all the things. So if we are talking about the operating system, Windows 95% users are using Windows operating system. It may be possible that someone is using 97 or someone is using 2007, or it may be any service packs. It may be other versions, but 95% of through the globally 95% of users are using Windows operating system. Why the 95% of persons are using Windows operating system? Because it is providing the convenience. It is providing the convenience through which, and through convenience it is possible to do all the things which we want to do. Okay. So convenience. Now as the time passes and we are facing the more complex situations, more complex application softwares, so then we have to move through the other operating systems. As the time passes, we are using the more complex situations, and the basic requirement is the time. We want to reduce the time. We want to reduce the time and maximize output. So we want to reduce the time, means there must be reduce the time, and we want to use the maximize output. So there comes a throughput. Throughput is nothing but throughput is number of number of tasks. Number of tasks executed per unit time. It is number of tasks executed per unit time. It is number of tasks executed per unit time. Means we want to maximize our output. We want to maximize our throughput. Through throughput, we means that we can easily, more number of tasks is equal to more throughput. So basically throughput is number of tasks executed per unit time, and if more number of tasks will be executed in that per unit time, it means the throughput is maximized. So if we compare the two operating systems, like if we are comparing Linux, between Linux operating system and Windows. So Windows will provide the convenience, no doubt. Windows will provide the convenience. It is very easy to do any things in the Windows, but if we are talking about the Linux with respect to convenience, less convenience, because in this we are using the terminal box, and if we want to install any application software, we go to the terminal and install all the instructions and follow all the instructions through which Linux can be worked smoothly. But if you want to talk about the throughput will be maximum in Linux. Maximum throughput. But if you are talking about the throughput with respect to operating system Windows, the throughput will be less throughput. Okay, so that's all about the primary goal. I hope you have understand the difference between the convenience and the throughput, and if you not have done any work in Linux, just go through that and absorb some environment of Linux operating system, and I hope using Linux operating system you will easily understand these two, convenience and throughput terms, that which environment is convenient to you, and which environment is giving the maximum throughput. Okay. So next thing this is all done, primary goal of operating system. Next topic we are talking about Now, next thing we will be discussing is what are the major functionalities, major functionalities of operating, major functionalities of operating system. Previous topic is the primary goal. Primary goal. What is the basic aim of operating system? What basic, for what purpose the operating system is developed for you? That is we have discussed in the primary goal. Next thing is what are the major functionalities? What are the major properties of operating system, or what are the basic characteristics of operating system? What are the functionalities of operating systems? So there are many functionalities of operating system. Here I am discussing the major functionalities of operating system. Number one functionality of operating system is resource management. Resource management. Okay, resource management. And discussing one by one topic. Resource management. Resource management means if we are using lots of, if we are connecting all the input devices and output devices to the CPU, then what will happen? What time that any resource is using, at about how much time? If we are using so managing all these resources in a convenient way, so that all the input and output devices run smooth and gives the absorbing environment to us, from which we can easily perform any task, is done by the resource management. Like in a task manager, if we go to the task manager in computer, if you go to the task manager in the computer, you will see the CPU utilization, you will see the CPU utilization, memory utilization, CPU utilization. In CPU utilization, you will see that the graph is showing this, and in memory utilization, you will see that graph is like showing this. This time means it is showing, it is nothing but just showing the utilization of CPU using all the resources, and how that operating system is managing all these resources and providing you the better utilization of the CPU. So this is all done in the resource management. This is all done in the resource management. Okay. And next thing is in operating system, in resource management, we are using the parallel we are accessing the parallel access. We are accessing any things through parallel. If we are using some tasks, and in parallel we are also accessing some tasks. So if we are doing if you are doing the parallel task, then multiple hardwares, if you are using the parallel access to task, then multiple hardware utilization is done. Means if you are using any, just for example, you are using keyboard and mouse, and through keyboard you are giving the instruction to the printer that print that document. So two hardwares are involving to take a single printout. So this management is done by for which amount of time the keyboard will active, and but keyboard will be active to giving that instruction to the printer, and after taking the printout from the printer, the printer will be off. Next time, if we again give the instruction to the printer, it will again give the printout. So this is all this utilization of hardwares and synchronization between, the term is synchronization between the hardwares and memory. And we will also discuss the memory in next lecture, that what are the memories in operating system, how can we utilize, and how the process and is done come to the main memory and all these things we will discuss in the next lecture. So there is, in resource management, synchronization is between the hardwares is very important in resource management. We are completely accessing, or we are free to access any hardware, and we are not bound to or we are not restricted to access any hardware, but the management of all the hardwares and utilization and synchronization is done in the is the basic functionality of the operating system. One of the major functionality of the operating system is the resource management. How to manage that resource to give the maximum output. So this is the first functionality of operating system. Now we will discuss the second functionality. Second functionality is the process management. Process management. Okay, how this process management is done? Like if you are using operating system of Windows, and if you are using Windows operating system, I am talking about all the examples through the giving the example of all the through Windows operating system. So in Windows operating system, if you are using Word and browser, web browser or any accessing media player. So these all things are the process. Like this is process 1, process 2, process 3. Okay. In a same time, we are accessing the Word file. In that same time, we are also accessing the web browser. In the same time, we are also accessing the media player. So accessing multiple applications is just if it is called a process. So accessing all these process simultaneously is in a concurrent way is called the process management. How to manage all the continuous process in a sequential way, in a process way, so that all the process will run through this and give the better environment. So for providing the better utilization, we will discuss the CPU scheduling. Okay, CPU scheduling means if we are accessing the Word file, browser file, media player file, then these are the every application is process, and this process runs in the RAM, which is main memory. Okay, this main memory, what is done? This main memory is give to the CPU to execute this process. Is first, this process comes in the RAM, Then this RAM gives the process to the CPU for execution. It gives CPU for execution of the process. Now, of the process. The basic thing is this: if we are accessing any application, it first converted into the process. Then it process is running in the RAM, and for executing that process, it will give to the CPU, and CPU. Now it will come to the CPU, and now which process gets the priority, or which process is getting to execute first or second or third or last, is done in CPU scheduling. So in CPU scheduling, there are lots of algorithms to manage CPU to manage the process. Now there are lots of algorithms for managing the process. Like example is round robin. We will discuss in later round robin algorithm, and lots of CPU scheduling algorithm, so that we can easily understand how the process is coming to the main memory, and how it is giving the maximum converted to the how the RAM is process is coming to the RAM, and after RAM it will be giving the CPU, and CPU will how CPU will manage this process to any different scenarios, that we will discuss later in CPU scheduling. So this is the second functionality, that how process management, how these processes are managed by CPU scheduling, and how there are lots of algorithms. One is round robin. The basic brief of this process management is this. Now next functionality of operating system. We will go to the next functionality of the operating system. Next functionality of the operating system is storage management. Storage management is if you are accessing any files or any drives, if you are accessing any file or any drive, then we are accessing that file and storing it in the hard disk drive. So storage management is done in the hard disk drive. We can easily say that the storage management is related to the hard disk drive, which is secondary memory. Primary memory is our RAM. Okay. So what secondary memory is task is, what the secondary storage task is, to store data permanently. We can easily store the data in the hard disk, and in that hard disk, how the storage is managed, how the different files, folders are managed in the hard disk, is done through storage management. Like if we are talking about the Windows operating system, there are basic there are two types of storage management. First is NFS and the second is CIFS. These are the two basic storage management of any hard disk drive, from which we can easily access any data stored in the hard disk. The NFS full form is Network File System, and through Network File System, which is used in the Windows operating system. operating system and the Windows operating system, and the CIFS is common interface file system. So these are the two basic modes of the operating system for storing any data in the hard disk. Like in hard disk, there are lots of this. If this is the hard disk, there are these are the tracks. That how the data are. These are the tracks, and between these tracks there are lots of sectors. These are all are the sectors. Between the tracks there are lots of sectors, and the data is stored in this. Here the data is stored. So how the data is stored in these tracks or sectors is done by NIFS and CFS. How it will manage how the data are stored and how these data can be easily done. And after storing that data, we can easily access through the files of any in future. If you want to access any file or folder, we can easily access through that. After clicking that, we can easily access the file by. It is done only by NFS and CIFS, because these file systems are providing the interface for accessing our data. So this is storage management. The next is functionality. So this is also the major functionality of the operating system, which is very important in the storage management. If you are accessing the data, then it will require any space, and that space is provided by the hard disk, so that we can easily access all these data. So this is all about the next functionalities we will discuss in the next lecture. So thank you all of you.